So I might have gone a bit overboard with this specific guide. I'm going to have everything timestamped and there will be chapters in the video. So I hope y'all will enjoy. What's up, TLOPO gamers? My name's Destroyer, or Sea Dog in this case. We're on test server right now, which is why my pirate's name is that. This is a brand new pirate I made just for this video to demonstrate this. But yeah, this is a video about how to level your sword as a solo player. So without any assistance. Obviously with assistance you can do a lot more. You can go to like Gold Room or the Hornets in Bilgewater and just, you know, have assistance there. But this is like, you're doing it by yourself. There's no one else here to help you. You're on your own. So pretty much a brand new pirate, doing it on test server to be able to, you know, give myself swords for their commands and level up easier. And yeah, so I'm on test server and I wanted to show first what swords you should use when you're leveling. This obviously applies to prod. The only difference is that it'll take longer to grind. But we're here in the blacksmithing shop because there's a couple different swords that you're going to want to use, and I have them all here. So this top row right here, these are all swords that you can buy. And I know this is kind of strange because I know that people usually just loot their weapons, but there are a lot of common weapons and such in the loot pool that you're probably not going to find a broadsword by the time you're like level 5 or 7. So if you want to get like a broadsword, like a guaranteed broadsword, the store is a good way to do it. So in Port Royal Tortuga, you can get at least these first two right here. You can get the small broadsword, level 7. It's pretty good. It's all right. It's, I think, the equivalent to every other level 7 broadsword. Then you have the steel broadsword, level 12. And I mean, if you're incredibly unlucky, you can also get this one, the mighty broadsword. So those are all your store weapons. And then over here, which is more likely what you're going to use, is all of your loot weapons. Now, the lowest level broadsword in the game is a level 5 broadsword. It is the worn broadsword. And what's interesting about this is that since it's level 5, the loot requirement for any weapon is 5 levels under. So this is a sword that you can get theoretically at the beginning of the game, like very beginning of the game if you're really lucky. It's a common broadsword, so it's not really that hard to get like really early on. So yeah, this will most likely be one of the first ones you use. You can also get these from sailing loot. I'll make sure to note if there's any like peculiar ones, at least I can catch. But yeah, you have the light broadsword and the iron broadsword. Both of these are level 7. Both have 32 attack, which is why the store one is like pretty equivalent to this. The store weapons really taper off in attack power and quality once you get to the higher levels, but early on they're pretty equivalent to their counterparts. So you got these common ones. The iron broadsword's obviously better because it's got the roundhouse boost. But then you got heavy broadsword, same attack, different model texture. Sweep boost instead. If you don't want to level sweep, you can use that as its stand-in for that. Then you have Brute's broadsword and Sharp broadsword. Both of these are level 8. Now the only difference is that the Brute's broadsword has a chop boost along with the critical strike, but besides that they're basically the same. Obviously the Brute's broadsword's better, but I think you're more likely to find a Sharp broadsword. I'm not certain about that. Don't quote me on that. And then you have Monkey broadsword. Now with Monkey broadsword, this is a creature only drop. So there are some areas where you're probably able to level, but it's not necessarily like the best place to level. That on the top of my head would probably be Wicked Thicket on Port Royal, which is where we are. So yeah, that would be a good place to get Monkey broadsword most likely. And then beyond that, you have Military broadsword. Now, I'm fairly certain with the military line, you can see 2 more in the row below. Those are the rare broadswords I'm going to go over in a second. These are, I think, Navy and EITC drops. You can only get them from Navy and EITC enemies. because I don't really see them anywhere else. So if you're grinding on Navy EITC enemies, particularly early on, you should be able to get that line of broadswords. Anyways, going on from the common broadswords, they go up to level 13. They go pretty easily into the rare. Not really much overlap with the broadswords. You have the tempered broadsword, really good one. It's a promotion from the sharp broadsword. That's a really solid one to get. Highly recommend it. Then the one next to it is the war broadsword. There's also the war cutlass. I don't think there's a war saber, but it's the healing boost. It's got a really good healing boost, and then it's got reverse spin cut, which is like flourish. So it's all right. Obviously, the attack is pretty good on it, and the healing boost is good, being a level 15 sword. So either of those are pretty good rare broadswords. And then obviously the later on here is the engraved broadsword, level 17. This is a promotion from the tempered broadsword. They changed the model and the texture, and obviously it's got the critical strike. It's the same critical strike, but it's also got the spin cut and the sweep boost up from the tempered broadsword. Obviously, it's still a really good item because it's a rare item. It's got good attack, good critical strike, along with being a broadsword. And I didn't really mention this before, but you're going to want to use a broadsword compared to a cutlass or a saber for leveling specifically, because, and honestly everywhere else in the game, because you're going to want to kite enemies. Kiting is the process of like chipping damage away while running around, so you don't get hit all that often, just one AFK there. So you don't want to like be like just attacking like, you know, passively and stuff. You want to be active and moving around so you don't get hit too much and, you know, die. So broadswords really help with that. And you can hit multiple enemies at once. That's the main thing for it. So you don't have to worry too much about your accuracy. Wouldn't recommend using these in PvP though. Definitely don't do that. You would use cutlasses there. But yeah, broadswords are really good for this leveling aspect. Then you got the cavalry and the dragoons broadsword. These are promotions of the military broadsword. You got the hurricane slash. These are also EITC Navy, I think. These are also really good. I think these are the only other ones that you can really get before you start really going into Thane territory. I'm not going to cover Thane here because this is early game. And like, you could theoretically find these while leveling broadsword and stuff. But yeah, these are the swords that you would want to use. Just any broadsword. You know, the higher level you go, you know, you get better swords. Use the better swords. It's pretty simple. But yeah, that's it for just doing the swords. Next, we're going to go on and look at different locations that you would want to level sword at. So, the first place we're at is actually Governor's Garden. Now, the reason I chose this is because you mainly have two big groups of enemies here. This is for really early level sword leveling. You're probably not even going to use this by the time you even get to use broadswords. But it's really useful because you got these four enemies right here. That's a group. And then you got these four enemies right here. That's another group. Now, something of note here is that there's a Navy Cadet here, which is going to be, you know, lower than the standard 4 to 7. So yeah, these enemies are all going to be level 4 to 7. And let's just demo it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab potions. So test server normally has 300% notoriety reputation. So if we pop a Jack's Brew, that's 500%. With the 300%, that's going to be 1500% in theory, unless the map is wrong or someone just lied or something. So right now we have sword level 2, very piddly level. So we're just going to defeat a Navy Bandit. I said Navy Bandit, I mean Undead Bandit. This should give us a good amount of experience. Only not as much as I would want. But you can see that the level 2, the level 4, they're already getting like pretty low level. Now, something of note is that the enemy colors, and thus your reputation bonuses, are going to scale with both notoriety and your weapon level. So now we're at level 5. Now we can actually use our first broadsword, which is going to be the Worn Broadsword right here. Our lowest attack, 29 attack. But you see, all these guys are yellow already by the time we're level 5. But This is what you're going to be wanting to do. Basically kiting. Now, early on, so you don't have this problem here, is you're going to want to get cleave here, or sorry, spin cut for broadswords, so you can do 3 hits instead of just in 2. So as you can see, we're already level 7 notoriety. I keep tripping on my words. Level 6 notoriety, level 7 sword. You can see your guys are already becoming green. Green is by the time you really want to leave the area that you're leveling at. But it's a really good place to get that quick notoriety. You're obviously not going to level as fast, so it's going to take a couple kills to get through this. So yeah, we're hitting greens, we're hitting grays. If you see your lowest level be gray, you definitely want to leave the area that you're leveling at. So we're going to go on to the next area, and I think this is going to be a little strange, a little unusual, but I think it's going to be relatively helpful. So our next area is actually Thieves' Den. So you're going to want to be around this middle area right here. Got a lot of Marines here that you can play around with. Now, since our sword level is already 8 and we're notoriety level 6, we're already having some greens around here. But if you want to come here a little before you get to those levels, you can really take advantage of these 4 guys right here. Now, this is actually a pretty tough one because there were a couple of options that you could go to instead of these guys. And I thought that this one's the best because these guys, these Marines, are only going to be melees. And that's significant because if you have a ranged enemy of some sort, then you're going to experience a lot of trouble of trying to stay alive and all of that. There's a light broadsword for you. The main area that I can think of where you would have that tension would be Murky Hollow. There's 2 areas that I scoped out earlier before recording this video, where there's a good enemy spread. There's that bridge with Jolly Roger. Jolly Roger's looking down on the bridge in Murky Hollow. That's got 3 enemies there. The problem is that because of the whole range attention and all of that, you've got undead brutes, 6 to 10. Then you got undead witch doctors. Now, witch doctors use the voodoo doll. And with the voodoo doll, that is a ranged attack. And voodoo dolls are actually pretty, infamously, hard to fight against because the aggro that on the voodoo doll is, really strict. They'll hit you, immediately. And with witch doctors, they won't have life drain or anything like that, but they do have curse. Curse is very important. That's 30% defense decrease. So you have curse placed on you. Then you have swarm, a really good low-level doll attack, and they can really sweep you if there's a majority of witch doctors here. So you really want to go into a place that's primarily melee enemies. And a good example of that is these Marines here. They're 6 to 10, just like the rest of them. The spread's not as good as you can see in Murky Hollow, but you still get a good... You get the melee. That's the reason you're here. Now, the good thing about Thieves' Den specifically is that if you want to get higher level enemies, obviously you can see greens already, you can come over here and there's going to be a good spread of Marines and also thugs. Now, thugs are ranged enemies, so you want to be careful with them. But if you want to just stay in the same area early on, then you can attack these guys along with these Marines here. And that'll let you get a good amount of reputation before going on to an area that has better enemies but is in a different location. So we're going to move on there really quick. So now I'm in Royal Caverns. I'm specifically over here at this bend right here. This is where later in the quest line, I think in Bilgewater, you go here to fight a boss named David Benbow, level 40. But over here, before you get to that room where he's in, you have 5 Navy sergeants, all 9 to 14, all melee only. They only use cutlasses. So a couple things I changed is I have Brute's Broadsword now, critical strike. chop boost. I could use Monkey's Broadsword, but I do want to have the advantage of a critical strike. And I also upgraded my my skills here. Get a little more damage there. So over here, you got a lot of enemies here. You got 5 specifically. You got 1 here a bit further away. But if you want, you can really stay in just this area right here with just 4 enemies, and then start kiting these guys around. Now with reverse spin cut, you're going to get a lot of damage out of it. You're going to want to be careful with how you attack because because it's a pretty small area and they can do a lot of damage just suddenly. So you're going to get a lot of XP here from doing that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it with this area. The other thing I wanted to mention, the thing that I just forgot about, was that when I was level like 9 and then my sword was level 10, the lowest level, that sergeant right there, was a green 9, but they were all like red up to 14. So now obviously we're getting a lot of greens and yellows, so that means we're going to want to like switch around, switch up our strategy, and go to a different area, which is what we're going to do next. I'm pretty sure that most of you saw this coming, but when you're around this level and you can take a few more hits, you're going to want to come to the Navy veterans. And what's interesting about these guys specifically is that they are a static level 18. They don't vary from 13 to 18. They are level 19, I mean. They are level 18 only. So that's good because you can stay around with these guys longer, but you're going to want to be careful because if you're like me, teetering on the edge, you're going to take, you know, more damage and stuff from them because you're a lower level. So I'm here, level 13 broadsword. I can actually upgrade my thing to a tempered broadsword. Get that out, and then I can upgrade my skills too. So we're really honing in on just like getting the combo skills to get as much damage out as possible. You're gonna obviously want to be stocked on tonics more than I am. But yeah, you can attack these guys, and this is really an area where if you're high reputation level but low skill level, you're going to want to come here first. The people usually come here to do grenades really fast. Now the problem here is that if you get the slow like I did, then you're not going to be able to kite as well, and then you die. But thankfully, with the power of cheating, you can just give yourself HP. So I'm actually curious, can I? I don't know any commands like that. I guess, okay, we're just going to have to keep trying like this. Just keep trial and error. This is going to be a lot harder than I imagine. This is what I get for doing lower level. So, oh, you know what I can do actually? I think what I can try to do, I'll die here. I'll give myself Swift Foot 3, and that will make me go faster. I'll use HP now, so that will heal me. We use Swift Foot 3. Obviously, this is cheating, so you can't really, like, this is not really a viable strategy, just like giving yourself health over and over again. But it should give us a little bit more speed to be able to attack these guys a bit more ferociously. I wish I had a way to be more stacked on potions. If I can kill one of them, the main thing is you really don't want any of them to hit you. Because if you get hit, you know, you're sort of like a glass cannon right now. You're doing damage, but you're not really, you're not going to want to get hit, you know. So, these guys got confused aggro, getting a ton of sword levels all of a sudden. We're like, you know, level 12 already. Level 16, level 13. So, we're moving up in the world, getting the ranks up, getting XP up. So that was a better example of kiting, unlike going in the middle. You want to go around the sides and all that, hit them where it hurts. We're already level 16 sword. Now, obviously, that's because, you know, this is test server. But if you're able to do this a good amount, you can grind this out. You just want to make sure if they're aggro that they don't get the comeuppance on you. You don't want them to get you hit and you get slowed as a result. But yeah, you're going to want to hit them around like this. Now you can see that on level 13, my sword's level 17. They're already yellow. Now, I would recommend once they hit green, which is going to be pretty soon if we keep getting this much XP, you're going to want to move on to a next area, which, for the sake of time, I'm just going to do that now. So now we're over here in the catacombs. Now, I made sure to do like a few more rounds of doing veterans until they were green. Most of our swords are unlocked at this point. I'm going to give myself the engraved broadsword and maybe the cavalry broadsword there. So, as you can see, these guys are all, for the most part, ranged. You have one officer here who's not ranged, but you got 6 enemies. They're all around 1825 in their level. There's another officer there that I missed. So, you're going to want to be careful here because these guys can do ranged along with melee. So you have to kind of count on them doing melee for the most part, or else that happens. And the real kicker is that, you know, these guys can do adders, which means you're going to take a lot of damage from, you're going to take a lot of damage over time because of that. So you're going to want to just like, you know, do the kiting thing as normal, just be extra careful, and I guess cheat also because yeah, this is going to be a bit tougher than I thought. But yeah, you're going to want to just do the normal thing. You have a lot of enemies here. You can play around with some other enemies here too. Running out of potions that can help me out here. You kind of want to level other things because right now I'm really just doing sword. I got like just a lot of sword things. I'm going to give myself a lot of endurance, max that endurance out. Now, the thing with leveling with a broadsword is that you actually don't want to give yourself jumping slash. This is very important for leveling specifically. You can obviously retrain and put those skill points into other things like Blade Storm, I guess, and then, you know, doing your combo skill is more optimized. But for leveling, you want to get yourself away from jumping slash because jumping slash is a single target attack, and it'll hit only one person, and then you have the animation cooldown. With this, with these first 4, you can easily go through them and cycle them pretty easily over and over again with multiple enemies. These 3 always hit like multiple enemies. Chopped, not so much. But yeah, you want to skip jumping slash at least while you're leveling, and you just want to, you know, keep doing this until, you know, they become majority green. You don't want to stick around for too long. Gotta rely on your crits and die. Also, you didn't even get XP for that because I died, but I still got the loot. But whatever. But yeah, you know, they're becoming a little more green. So after this, I'm probably gonna give myself a few more rounds, and then I'm gonna move on to the next area slash for the most part, the final area before you just like kill enemies in general. So we're still in the catacombs here, but we're in a different part of the catacombs. Instead of being in the middle area, we're here at this stretch right here. And I came here specifically because this area has a lot of mercenaries. I think around 5 that you can effectively hit in a really shallow area. And I specifically like this because, for one, 23 to 30. So at this point, you're getting pretty close to leveling your sword. I'm level 18 notoriety, level 24 sword. And this is an area that I personally use for this stage of the leveling game. Obviously, most people just level their sword normally, but if you want to grind sword specifically, this is a good place to do it. So you have a good spread of mercenaries here. You can see that most of them are red tag, but some are yellow tag. I stopped after the 18s were gray in the previous area. But the good thing, you know, they're all melee, so they're not going to hurt you that bad if they're not going to, like, you know, hurt you from a distance. I'm already running out of potions, but thankfully any level up will give you that. But yeah, this is really going to be like the final area where you can really level up. Obviously, there's more areas like beyond this. Most likely, you can do like South Idle. You need a good 28 to 35 area before you do South Idle, though. That's 33 to 40. But yeah, 23 to 30. This is a good area to like get it where you're low level and you still need to grind stuff out. But yeah, at this point, like you can see, my sword is already level 25, basically from doing no grinding. You're going to see yourself get knocked out a lot. If you have a friend to help you heal, that would be helpful, but if you're soloing, it's going to be a little tougher. But yeah, this is pretty much it. This is like pretty much the end. Like at this point, you're going to get your sword near max, and then you're just going to go do quests in other areas, and you're just going to get your sword level that way. But yeah, I hope that this has been a relatively helpful guide, at least a little helpful, besides my bad execution of showing how it works and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all of it. We're already level 19. We got a level 26 sword. We're basically on our way to mastering it. So yeah, I hope this this sword leveling guide was helpful. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Besides one more thing, skills and that. So obviously you're gonna want to like I'd say get jumping slash and reverse spin cut like up near 5 or something. These don't matter as much. You really don't want to level chop though. After that, you're gonna want to go to a retrainer. All of these are pretty good. Brawl and taunt. You can do something funny with that. But for the main part, you want to level blade storm. Sweep if you really want to, but I wouldn't really recommend putting that much into sweep. Endurance definitely, because that's a percent based thing, so you can get a lot of HP later on as you get more and more notoriety levels and such, and just static bonuses. This does like wonders for that. Parry, I would recommend against. If you're doing exclusively PvE, I wouldn't even recommend it against that much. Also, PvPers would hate you, so I'd say don't touch parry. But yeah, that's for skills. That should be everything. I hope you all have a good one. Make sure to comment below if you want to see me make a guide on something else or any other topic that you'd want. And then there's also the forum if you want to give feedback there. Looking for feedback mainly. So yeah, I hope you all have a good one.